Good evening, everyone. So, this is Modern India revision. I hope this screen is visible to everyone. See, 2024 to 2011, we have questions from Modern India. And the easiest way of mastering Modern India is solving the PYQs. Starting with the 2011, see, there was a question. I think this is visible to everyone. This is visible to everyone. See, with reference to freedom struggle, which of following were recommended by Nehru report. So you know that India's first draft constitution by Indians, that is Nehru report, and it was a response to this what is called a Simon Commission report, or maybe there is a Birkenhead's challenge was like this: Indians are not able to, or not fit for drafting a constitution that satisfy all Indians. So there is all party conference, and there is a select committee, there is a Nehru committee, and finally there is a draft report, that is Nehru report. And what all the features of recommendations of Nehru report, you must know this very well, because already UPSC asked questions, and since being debated due to various contests, this could be asked in this exam also. So complete independence for India, please take care that this complete independence for India is not there. Immediate independence or complete independence is not the immediate agenda of this Nehru report. That's why the younger session of the Congress, or younger section of the Congress, including Subhash Chandra Bose, Jawaharlal Nehru, they were not happy with this report. Okay, so you see, that's why they launched this Indian Independence League and all. So this complete independence element was missing from the joint electorate for reservation of seats for minorities, provision of fundamental rights, provision of fundamental rights for the people of India in the Constitution. 2 and 3 fine, but complete independence is not there. Similar way, they can ask a question which is about Lucknow Pact. Why this Lucknow Pact is significant? For the first time, Congress and League jointly demanded for separate electorate for this, for separate electorate for Muslims. So this is the way they can ask different reports or different pacts and their central features. So take care. Purna Swaraj resolution was passed in Lahore session, that is 1929. Okay, since then they adopted this Purna Swaraj. So in the Nehru report, this complete independence was missing. Okay, that is the reason why younger section was dissatisfied with this Nehru report. Then see, there is a question with reference to this Indian freedom struggle, Usha Mehta well known. So here again I would say that these personalities or persons related to major events. Okay, I said that these events, their cause and effect, and their link with other events, and especially there are persons related to, personalities related to, these are important for UPSC. So Usha Mehta, you know that she is popular in this Quit India contest. So please have an idea who are the prominent personalities associated with this Champaran Satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha, Ahmedabad mill strike. Similar way, Rowlatt Satyagraha, NCM, CDM, Quit India, Ring Mutiny, or this INA agitation. So in all these aspects, please try to understand who are the popular personalities, both men and women, associated with such events of the freedom struggle history, because that is a favorite area for UPSC. Those personalities, their writings, their contributions, or their significant associations with the organizations, such things are favorite areas of interest for UPSC in the prelims examination. There is a question. Gandhi said unto this last book, transferred himself. What was the message from the book? So there are lots of books and personalities inspired Gandhiji and his Satyagraha. So there is, you must have an idea what are the different authors and their popular books which inspired Gandhiji for his Satyagraha and his ashram concept, etc. Okay, so here you see that unto this last, how it influenced. See, the good of individual is contained in the good of all. So this is the way different books. Gandhiji himself is it's a prolific writer, So his famous works, his famous journals, newspapers, autobiography, all these things you must know. The same way, you must also understand what are the other great writers, authors, and their books influenced the lifestyles and life of Gandhi. Okay. See, purpose of William Wedderburn Kane to set up Indian Parliamentary Committee 1893. Okay, so this is something, yes, they are, you should have an idea who are these Englishmen or the Europeans who had a soft corner toward India's independence or achieving India's Swaraj or self-responsible government. So there are some people who are British parliamentarians or some people in the British Parliament or some Europeans, they expressed or they being very cordial to or they expressed their strong will for India's self-government or self-rule. So have an idea who are those Englishmen associated with the INC or associated with India's freedom struggle, associated with the Indian left-wing extremism or socialism and India's freedom struggle movement, etc. Okay, so these people for agitating Indian political reforms in the House of Commons. There is a question, look into the question. We know that after Gandhiji's Garvapasi, Gandhiji was engaged in 3 localized satyagrahas, Champaran, Kheda, Ahmedabad mill strikes. So coming to Kheda Satyagraha, what was the central reason behind Kheda Satyagraha? So Champaran, you know, it was fight against this forced indigo cultivation. Forced indigo cultivation. Okay, similar way, coming to Kheda Satyagraha, it was, due to this administration did not suspend the land revenue collection in spite of drought, due to which, yes, land survey was, land assessment, revenue assessment was not legal, and they imposed heavy taxes on the farmers, and in a very pathetic drought situation they are not in a position to pay the land revenue. They organized a satyagraha, which is Kheda Satyagraha. Similar way, there is cancellation of this, plague bonus is the reason behind the Ahmedabad mill strike, where Gandhiji first time observed this, like what is called see, here everything is important. Hunger strike, everything is important. You must know where Gandhiji first applied his civil disobedience, where Gandhiji first applied his non-cooperation, where Gandhiji first applied his hunger strike, where Gandhiji first applied this hartal. All those things are important. This being repeatedly asked by UPSC. Again, see, there is a question, home charges. What is this home charges mean in this contest? Okay, fund used to support the Indian office in London. Funds used to pay salaries, pensions to British personals, funds used for waging wars outside India by this British. So what are the essential components of home charges? What are the essential constants of home charges? You must have an idea. All is connected with this, drain of wealth. That is in multiple forms. Indian wealth is drained, looted out of India. Okay, thus loot also become an English word. You see, yes, that is in the form of salaries. That is in the form of this interest, that is in the form of this what is called tributes, or in the form of these dividends, that is in the form of this surplus, that is in the form of this raw material. Okay, all the way. And similar way, you see this Indian fund is used for maintaining this staff of Indian office in London. Okay, for paying the salaries or incentives for this employees in this Indian office, which is maintained for Indian administration in London. Okay, and these British personals engaged in this India. So these are something home charges. So have an idea what are the constants of the home charges. There is a question, what is this common factor for tribal insurrection? In a single glance, you may feel that each of them is a reason, but they are asking specifically a common factor. A common factor means it to become a reason for tribal uprisings in North India, South India, Central India, Northwestern India, everywhere. Okay, Christian missionaries, that is not a common reason for all tribal uprisings. And introduction of new land revenue system and taxation, especially permanent settlement in Bengal, that is not a common reason, because they introduced different land revenue settlements in different parts of India. Rise of large number of money lenders, traders, revenue farmers. This is also, regional, or maybe these are reasons to a specific tribal uprisings. They are asking for common factor for tribal insurrections in India. Obviously, this complete disruption of old agrarian order to the tribal communities. Okay, so all A, B, C, D, they summarize this, or they become part of this, D choice. complete disruption of all agrarian order to the tribal communities due to this British land revenue policies or this new moneylenders introduction, or maybe this what is called a Christian mission. All this eventually leading to complete disruption of self-sufficiency of their agrarian economy. That is a common factor for tribal uprisings in the 1920s centuries. There is a question, look into this: which of the following observations not true about Quit India? So these kind of the cheat codes and words must be very clear to you. Sometimes most of the students they ignore, or sometimes they do not notice the word not in the question. You see, they are asking for not true about Quit India. So it was a non-violent movement. Actually, it is not a non-violent movement. It was mixture of violence, yes, both violence and non-violence. Violence and non-violence. Tendency to increased litigation visible after introduction of land revenue settlement of Cornwallis 1793. Reason for this, you see, there is making Zamindar's position stronger, making East India Company overload of Zamindars, making judicial system more efficient. All three are not the reasons. Okay, there is cancellation of this what is called the court fees and all. So because of which there is increased litigation. Okay, that is a reason and not these reasons. See, with reference to Rayotwari settlement, rent was paid directly by peasants to the government. Government gave pattas to Rayots. Land was surveyed and assessed before this being taxed. So there are different land revenue settlements. Mahalwari is there, Rayotwari is there, permanent settlement is there, Dani is there. So different taxation policies and land revenue policies by British. You must have an idea about each. Rayotwari, it was first introduced in the Madras presidency, and here Rayot is the owner of land and he is supposed to pay the tax to the government. So rent was paid directly by peasant to government is true. Government gave pattas to Rayots. Lands were surveyed, assessed before being taxed. Okay, all are fine here with regard to Rayotwari settlement. And the biggest problem here is that government at will anytime they can revise this land revenue. So there is overburden of taxes, year after year. So this is something Rayotwari introduced in Madras presidency for the first time. Then there is a question: Gandhi undertook fast and to death 1932, mainly because of the introduction of the communal awards. Communal awards. Communal award is separate electorate. Gandhiji believed, awarding separate electorate to Indian communities, minorities, that would be, similar to this breaking the unity of India. So if separate electorate provided to Indian minorities, it will break the unity and leading to this, balkanization and all. So Gandhiji, instead of giving communal awards, Gandhiji proposed to joint electorate and maximum reservation and representation for minorities. Okay, if communal awards, separate electorate provided to depressed classes, the untouchable will always remain as untouchable. Okay, so his idea is that a joint electorate and a maximum reservation representation for depressed classes. Okay, so because of the communal award declaration by the British Prime Minister, he undertook fast and to death finally settled by Pune Pact between Gandhi and Ambedkar. Okay, that was an amendment to communal award. See, there is a question: which of the following were established by Ambedkar? So again I say that this is it's in the regular intervals you can expect the questions. Different organizations or national parties or journals or these reformist movements founded by or launched by the famous personalities. Okay, so have an idea. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Coming to Ambedkar, you must have an idea what are the popular parties or popular organizations or these journals, magazines or whatever associated with Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. You should have an idea, just like Subhash Chandra Bose, Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru or Bal Gangadhar Tilak or Arvindo Ghosh, you see, or Surendranath Banerjee. See what all these organizations or political parties or journals they are associated with. You must have a clear idea about that. Okay, it's important for you. So here you see that All India Scheduled Caste Federation, Independent Labour Party, all are associated with the Ambedkar. National Social Conference is founded. What was the reason? The reason is simple. We know that Indian National Congress did not want to include social reforms in the deliberations and decided to form a separate body for such. So Indian National Congress is a political organization and it will not entertain these social reforms, and for that social reforms a separate cell is created that is called this National Social Conference. Principal features of this Government of India Act 1919. See, 1919, introduction of diarchy, the executive of government of the provinces. Yes, provincial diarchy. Provincial diarchy is a feature. Introduction of separate communal electorate for Muslims. This is, happened in 1909, Indian Council Reforms, Indian Council Act. Devolution of legislative authority by the center to the provinces. Devolution of legislative authority by the center to the provinces. Of course, just look into that. Especially, I would say that you can go for 1909, 1919 and 1935 reforms. These are very strong and very important for you. Yes, regular intervals they are asking questions from 1909, 1919, 1935 reforms. Okay, so go for their provisions. Go for their provisions. The provincial and federal provisions, provincial and central provisions you go through. They are very important, and also you must know what is the response. What is the Indian response to these legislative reforms? Okay, that's also important for you. Congress ministries resigned in the 7 provinces in 1939. We know Government of India Act 1935, there is a provision for provincial autonomy, and what all these political parties contesting elections, winning majority vote, they can form a government. So accordingly, 1937 Congress ministries formed in 7 provinces. Then you see that Congress ministries, they performed very nicely. They showcased what is the role of a good government. Anyway, you see that in the majority provinces, Congress formed governments. Now the question is 1937 to 1939. By 1939, these Congress ministries resigned. Why they resigned? Fact is very simple. Yes, because you see that Congress did not form ministries in other government. That is not the reason. Left wing in the Congress is not a reason. Widespread communal disturbance is not a reason. None of the above is your answer, because the then Viceroy, that is Lord Lithgow, announced India's participation in World War II. Yes, okay, World War II. Announced India's participation in World War II with this Germany without the consent of Indian ministries. That is why they resigned. And their, negotiations didn't work, or they asked for certain things that didn't accepted by this British. So the Viceroy Lithgow, he announced India's participation in World War II with Britain against Germany. That is, Germany, Japan. You see, that is without the consent of Congress ministries. That was the reason. Look into this. Assessment of land revenue on basis of nature of soil and quality of crops, use of mobile cannons in warfare, cultivation of tobacco and red chilies. The question is, what all being introduced into India by this English? See, assessment of land revenue on basis of nature of soil and quality of crops. You must understand this system prevailed in India much decades early. Use of mobile cannons in warfare, cultivation of tobacco and red chilies. So this is already being introduced here. So have an idea what all thing is introduced by Portuguese, or this Dutch, or this British, or this French. You must have an idea. What all thing is introduced in India by these Mughals. You must have an idea. What all things introduced in this India by these Arabic, Turkish rulers. You must have an idea. Okay, even ancient times in the central, these Central Asians, or maybe these Indo-Greeks, Kushanas, Scythians, Parthians, what all things they introduced here. All this because the UPSC asked a question. Kushanas, these trousers, and these what is called the turban, and those things introduced in India first by the Kushanas. So that kind of questions UPSC asks, you shouldn't miss. Which of the following statements correct regarding Brahma Samaj? It opposed idolatry, we know that. Yes, denied the need for priestly class, true. It popularized doctrine that Vedas are infallible. So Vedas are not infallible. Vedas are not infallible. This is the idea of Brahma Samaj. But Arya Samaj believed Vedas are infallible. That nobody can question the Vedic knowledge here. Human reasoning, human rationalism shouldn't be applied into Vedas. That is the ultimate authority. But Brahma Samaj and this Brahma Samaj, you must understand, Brahma Samaj is reformist movement, and Arya Samaj is it is revivalist movement. So see the difference. So coming to this Rajara Mohan Roy Brahma Samaj, Vedas are not infallible. Human reasoning that is superior than this Vedic knowledge or Vedas. Okay. Similar way, see, Lahore session of Congress is important. Lahore session, why? So INC sessions, again I am telling you, INC sessions are very important for you, my dear students or friends, especially the historic resolutions. Historic resolutions or its presidents or leaders, locations. Okay, these are very much important for you, and the chronology. Okay, so you must understand that INC sessions, the historic resolutions, leaders, locations, chronology, important for you. So coming to Lahore session, yes, passed a resolution demanding complete independence. You see, that is important. Rift between extremist moderates resolved in this session. Resolution was passed rejecting two nation theory in this session. Why this is significant? There is only one reason. That reason is, yes, a resolution passed demanding complete independence. There is a question. Rowlatt Act aimed at compulsory economic support to war efforts, imprisonment without trial and summary procedures for trial, suppression of Khilafat movement, imposition of restrictions, freedom of the press. Rowlatt Act, Sidney Rowlatt. So you see, most of these acts are connected with these people who submitted the reports. Okay, so just to have an idea why Sidney Rowlatt arrived here, what time he arrived here. So you see that when this revolutionary tension was so strong, and see in this World War contest, you see, yes, a committee was appointed, Sidney Rowlatt committee was appointed, that is to study about this revolutionary terrorism, and it is to check the growth of revolutionary terrorism. An act was passed, Rowlatt Act. Accordingly, anyone on suspicion, anyone on the grounds of suspicion, doubts, can be arrested without a warrant and put in the jail without a trial. Okay, that is Rowlatt Act, you know. Yes, this is imprisonment without a trial and summary procedures for trial. So just to see that anyone on, if you are doubted or suspected for connection with the revolutionaries, revolutionary organizations or terrorist groups, revolutionary terrorist groups, yes, you being arrested without warrant and put in the jail without a trial. So that is Rowlatt Act. So this is something against this, you know, human rights, fundamental rights, and you see, right against detention. So Gandhiji, see, and also this is right against freedom of the press. So here Gandhiji launched the first pan-India Satyagraha, which is called the Rowlatt Satyagraha. Okay. There is a question, most effective contribution made by Dadabhai Naoroji. See, Dadabhai Naoroji, he is the moderate leader. Moderates' biggest contribution is, you know, they exposed to the economic drain. Economic drain, or how India's wealth is systematically exploited and drained out of India by these Britishers. Okay, so see, his biggest contribution is he was able to generate, I mean, through his poverty and British rule in India, or his drain of wealth theory. Yes, he exposed this economic exploitation of India by this British. Not even a single penny is spent for India's welfare. What all India's wealth that is rooted in multiple forms to this Britain. Okay, so just to see that this exposed economic exploitation of India by British, that is his biggest, I mean, generation of this economic nationalism, that is the biggest contribution of Dadabhai Naoroji. Okay, exposed economic exploitation of India by British. Radcliffe Committee. See, here again I would say that lots of committees are there. Lots of committees and commissions are there. Like Currency Commission is there, Famine Commission is there, Education Commission is there, or this what is called this Boundary Commission is different, or commissions for princely state relations. So there are lots of committees and commissions. Just go for the popular committees and commissions appointed by the British, and what are the purpose behind their appointment, what are the reports. Okay, so those things you take care. Committees, commissions, their purpose, their goal, their works, and their reports, all those things you take care. Radcliffe is a boundary commission. Ilbert controversy was related to what? We know that this is something connected with the removal of the disqualification imposed on Indian magistrates with regard to trial of Europeans. So there was already existed, even though British rule of the law, there already existed discrimination. What was that discrimination? Indian magistrates are not empowered to conduct the trial of these European criminals. Okay, European criminals, and their trial must be conducted by European judges only. Indian magistrates not having that power of conducting trial of these European criminals. So, but at the same time, he is a deputy can conduct it if he is a European, you know. So the biggest problem is Ilbert Bill controversy is connected with the disqualifications imposed on Indian magistrates with regard to trial of Europeans. trial of Europeans only by these European magistrates, not by Indians. Okay, so there is already a disqualification in the judiciary. Even though there is a rule of the law, everyone is equal in the eyes of law. Already existed a discrimination, and discrimination is like this: Indian magistrates are having no power. They are not supposed to conduct the trial of Europeans. So to end this disqualification, yes, it was during time of Lord Ripon introduced a bill which is Ilbert Bill, but there is huge criticism, and finally it was rejected. Later, after many years with lots of modifications, it was passed. So it was an eye-opener for Indians. You cannot expect justice from this British-ruled India. Okay. So Ilbert Bill is connected with the judicial discrimination. That is, Indian magistrates have no power to conduct the trial of these European criminals. Annie Besant was responsible for starting Home Rule League, founder of Theosophical Society, one of the president. Yes, she was once the president of Indian National Congress, but not the president. Not the founder of Theosophical Society. But with her arrival, only Theosophical Society becomes so popular. She is not the founder. Okay, Blavatsky and Olcott. Now here she is responsible for Home Rule League, and also once she was president of Indian National Congress. In fact, she was the first women president. Demand for Tebaga peasant movement in Bengal was, Tebaga movement is peasant movement in Bengal. This is actually for reduction of the share of the landlords from 1/2 to of the crop to 1/3. Okay, there was a time these peasants got this what is called 50-50. Even though they are putting lots of this what is called investment in cultivation and everything they are doing, but they have to pay 50% of the harvest to these landlords. Now they started a movement, the Baga movement, in which peasants demanded they will give only 1/3 of the crop to the landlord, because all effort and pain is by the farmer, so he must get that to 2/3. Okay, so the Baga is the 3 divisions. You see, Quit India movement launched in response to Cabinet Mission, Cripps Mission, Salman Commission, Waiwell Plan. Obviously, it is in response to Cripps Mission proposals. That was, yes, it's a post-dated check drawn on a crashing bank, according to Gandhiji. Nothing satisfactory for Indian leadership. Still, they are offering kind of dominant status, but we are demanding for this, Purna Swaraj. Okay, so it is launched in response to Cripps Mission. People of India agitated against arrival of Simon Commission because, yes, Simon Commission, there was no Indian member in the Simon Commission. This commission is to propose the future constitution, but a commission which is to suppose the future constitution should have Indian representation. Unfortunately, this is all 7 white member commission and no Indian participation, so it was rejected. What are the objects of this Queen Victoria's proclamation? Queen Victoria's proclamation: to disclaim any intention of annexed Indian states, to place Indian administration under British Crown, to regulate East India. There is no question of regulation of East India Company's trade, because this East India Company is scrapped and power transferred. Power transferred to this British Crown. So company no longer there as a power body. So you could see that since power is transferred to British Crown, there is no question of regulation on East India Company's trade with India. Then there is to place Indian administration under this British Crown, to disclaim an intention to annex Indian states. So you see that 1 and 2 I will go for. Ghadar was actually, it is a revolutionary association of Indians with the headquarters at San Francisco. Ghadar, and you see there is a Komagadamadu incident which ignited the spirit of Ghadar movement. Okay. Connect the events with each. The 1929 Lahore session, again this is repeated. You can see that why this is significant, because Purna Swaraj goal was adopted by Congress. Then there is a question: partition of Bengal made Lord Curzon 1905 lasted until, yes, this King George V abrogated Curzon's Act at a Royal Darbar in Delhi 1911. Which of the following movement contributed to a split in Congress, which is, yes, we know that there is Swadeshi movement. With regard to Swadeshi, its character or its outreach, there is a verbal fight, and finally moderates extremists splitted. Okay, which regarding modus operandi, or regarding how to carry forward this Swadeshi and what to do, where to do. With regard to that, there are lots of debates, discussions, conflicts, and finally In the Surat session, there is a split. 1907 Surat session, there is a split, and resulting in emergence of moderates and extremists. With reference to cabinet mission, which of the following is correct? It recommended a federal government, enlarged the power of Indian courts, provided for more Indians in ICS. With regard to cabinet mission, so cabinet mission, you know the purpose of each mission. See why this mission came India. If you know the fundamental thing, this is answerable. Okay, recommended a federal government, enlarged power of Indian courts, provided for more Indians in the ICS. So it is nothing to do with ICS, nothing to do with these Indian courts. It is, recommending a federal government and avoiding partition. No partition, no to partition. It proposed a federal system, power division. See, a question is like this. The first women president of Indian National Congress, Sarojini Naidu. First women Muslim president of Indian National Congress, Badruddin Tyabji. Okay. First women president of Indian National Congress is not Sarojini Naidu, that is Aini Besant. First Indian women president is, of course, it is Sarojini Naidu. Who of the following organized a march on Tanjavur coast to break the salt satyagraha? We know that it is Rajagopalachari. So you must know, with the context of this CDM, yes, there are different events which happened in different parts of India. Have an idea who are the leaders of those events, especially salt satyagrahas held in different parts of India. Must have an idea the popular leaders of those events. Okay, and what all the things which happened in CDM. Okay, Rajagopalachari. Government of India Act 1919 clearly defined what? The separation of power between judicial legislation, jurisdiction of central and provincial governments, power of Secretary of State for Indian Viceroy, none of the above. Better option, I will go for jurisdiction of central and provincial governments. The Congress Socialist Party advocated boycott of British goods and evasion of taxes, wanted to establish dictatorship of all trade, and advocated separate electorate for minorities and oppressed classes. See? Boycott of British goods and evasion of taxes. Evasion of taxes is impossible because you know that taxes is the main source of income for the government. So excessive taxes, rejected, but it is not like evasion of taxes. It wanted to establish dictatorship of all trade. See, there is no connection between, their socialism and dictatorship, they will not go hand in hand, eliminated. It advocated separate electorate for minorities, oppressed classes. It advocated separate electorate for, Congress Socialist Party is not separate from Congress. You see, yes, Congress, especially from beginning of this 1920s onwards, Congress constantly demanding for joint electorate, not a separate electorate. Okay, so there is no chance. It is the, Congress Socialist Party is, of course, you must understand, formed within the Congress so that they will not go against the interest of Congress. So I will go for D. Who of the following economic critics of colonialism? Dadabhai Naoroji, Subramania Iyer, R.C. Dutt. All the three are economic critics of this colonialism. Okay. So here again you just have an idea. Economic critics. Who all are the economic critics? Who all are the moderates? Extremists. Revolutionaries. Popular Gandhian followers. Okay, these ideas must be very important for you. Again, Rowlatt Act, which of the following is correct? Rowlatt was based on recommendation of Sedition Committee. Rowlatt Satyagraha Gandhiji tried to utilize Home Rule League. Demonstrations against Samin Commission coincided with the Rowlatt Satyagraha. You look into all the three statements. Yes, demonstrations against arrival of Samin Commission. The problem is Samin Commission, you must place it, somewhere around 1928. Okay, but the Rowlatt was 1990. So chronology will save you here. Okay, demonstrations against the Simon Commission coincided with the Rowlatt. That is wrong because Simon Commission 1928, Rowlatt is 1990. But the second is correct and the first is also correct. Yes, there is a question. The plan of Stafford Cripps envisaged after Second World War, India should be granted complete independence, should be partitioned into before granting independence. India should be made a republic with the condition that she will join the Commonwealth. India should be given dominion status. Says Stafford Cripps why it is a failure, or why Gandhiji said it is a post-dated check on crashing bank, because India was offered that dominion status only, no Purna Swaraj. That's why Quit India happened. What was the main reason for the split of Indian National Congress Surat in 1907? Of course, we know that the reason is extremist lack of faith in capacity of moderates to negotiate with the British government. That was the major reason. Bombay is the major reason. So have an idea what are the central ideologies, ideas of moderates and that of this extremist. This understanding must be very clear. Please try to answer this. Amen. See, similar way, another question is asked here. Popular personalities of modern India: reformers, educationists, thinkers, intellectuals, moderates, extremists, freedom fighters. Their associations: Calcutta Unitarian Committee, we know Rajaram Mohan Roy. Tabernacle of New Dispensation, we know it is Keshav Chandra Sen. Indian Reform Association, Keshav Chandra Sen. So they are asking for what all associated with the Keshav Chandra Sen. Montague Chelmsford proposals were related to what? They are being related to constitutional reforms. Satya Shodak Samaj was organized as an anti-caste movement in Maharashtra. Swadeshi boycott adopted as methods of struggle for the first time during agitation against partition of Bengal. With reference to freedom struggle, mutiny in Royal Indian Navy, Quit India, and Second Roundtable Conference, chronological sequence of the events. We will go for C. That is first comes this Second Roundtable Conference, then C, Quit India movement, and finally Royal Indian Navy mutiny. Diarchy refers to what? There is another question. Of course, it's division of subjects delegated to provinces into two categories. That is transferred and reserved subjects. Reserved subjects, these are authority departments or income departments. They are under this, British governor and his council. So they have no responsibility, no answerability to legislature. Okay, so reserved subjects and transferred. Transferred is, this is to elected Indian ministers. Elected Indian ministers. They have full answerability, no authority. They are answerable to legislature and they have no control over the fund. Elected Indian ministers, transferred subjects, departments of responsibilities without authority. Reserved subjects under this governor and his council without any responsibilities, only authority and income control. Reserved subjects have no responsibility to legislature, no answerability to legislature. So diarchy is a foolish system. Transferred subjects, reserved subject. Reserved is authority department. Transferred is responsible departments. So that was a failed system. Transferred to elected ministers, reserved to governor and his council. See, again there is a question. Question is match the pair. Radhakanta Dev, Ghazlu Lakshmi Nazru Chetty, Surendranath Banerjee. See what all matching pairs here. So it's again a simple question. Now they can ask 3 rows. Okay. So just have an idea what are the different, what is it is that different Yes, organizations, different organizations and their founding fathers, important for you. There is a question. Object of Butler Committee 1927 was to. Butler Committee is, a committee for improving relationship between government and these Indian states. Factories Act 1881 passed with a review to fix wages of industrial workers and to allow workers to form trade unions. N.M. Logende was pioneering in organizing labor movement in British India. Okay. So here coming to this fact, first factory act, that was in response to this Lancashire Manchester textile lobbyist demands. That is to ഈ പറയുന്ന ഇന്ത്യൻ മെർച്ചൻസിനോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ടെക്സ്റ്റൈൽ മാനുഫാക്ചറേഴ്സിനൊക്കെ ഒരു പണി കൊടുക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി അവരുടെ പ്രഷറിൽ സംഭവിച്ചതാണ് ഫസ്റ്റ് ഫാക്ടറി ആക്ട്. ഓക്കെ, വിത്ത് ബേസിക് റിഫോംസ്. Trade Disputes Act 1929 provided for what? Who among the following associated introduction of Rio Valley settlement? Alexander Reed, Thomas Munro, Cornwallis was, permanent settlement. Garibaldi Mazzini, Shivaji Sri Krishna, stayed in America for some time, elected to Central Assembly. So this is the way descriptions are given and you are confused. So just go for famous personalities, associations with organizations or bodies, with different bodies and their books and journals, etc. cover very well. Wood's Dispatch. See, Magna Carta of English education in India. Wood's Dispatch. Grant in aid system introduced. Establishment of universities recommended. English medium of instruction at all levels is wrong. It proposed to primary level vernacular education or in vernacular languages. Then higher level it is English. Economically, one of the results of British rule in India in the 19th century, commercialization of Indian agriculture, finance. After the Sandal uprising subsided, which were the measures taken by colonial government, territories called the Sandal Paraganas created, became illegal for Sandal to transfer land to non-Sandal. So actually, what are the measures taken by this government? So you must know that there is Chota Nagpur Tenancy Act is there, Sandal Paraganas creation is there. So after each tribal insurrections or tribal uprisings, what are the steps taken by the government that you have to go through? Okay, it's important for you. Now look into the question. There is which of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Wellesley? So Wellesley subsidiary alliance, we can see to secure a fixed income. Yeah, it's maintain a large standing army at others' expense to keep India safe from Napoleonic danger, to establish British paramountcy over Indian states. They are asking for, there is a cheat word, you see, it does not apply to the system. So to secure a fixed income for the company, that is not the logic behind introduction of subsidiary alliance. Okay. Hindu Mazdoor Sabha. Again see, different personalities, their association with the newspaper, journals, magazines, organizations. Significant aspect of Champaran Satyagraha. Yes, joining peasant unrest to India's national movement. Stable communities of export. Again, persons and organizations. Which of the events happened earliest? Chronology, again important. Swaraj Sabha. Which of the following led to introduction of English education? Charter Act 1813, General Committee of Public Instruction, Orientalist Anglicanist controversy, all is leading to introduction of English education here. In the federation established by Government of India Act 1935, residuary powers were with the, yes, that is federal legislature, Governor General, provincial legislature, provincial governors. So it is understood. So go for, the features. Go for the features. In the center and states who are powerful under this system. Okay. So go for it. Why this 1935 is still rejected by Congress? If you look into that, you will find the answer. Okay. Similar way, I will show you this one. I hope this slide is visible to you. Yeah, look into this. When you go for this, start with this advent of Europeans. Modern India, that starts with this advent of Europeans. Yeah, there is Portuguese, there is Dutch, British, French, their arrival, and eventually how this British overpowered other Europeans and how they established their colony. Trade spots, and eventually how they become this political power of India. So some historic battles are there. Battle of Plassey 1757. Then when I say European entry, you see why they came. They essentially came for trade. First with 1498 Vasco da Gama. By 1510 Portuguese conquered Goa. Then see Calicut, Kannur, Cochin, their major centers. Hooghly was their base of piracy. Then see the major settlements of these Europeans, especially Portuguese, blue water policy, Almeida's blue water policy. Then after him, eventually the Portuguese failed establishment of Mughals. Then comes Dutch. There is Colonial battle, first ever Indian ruler to defeat Europeans. Then British East India Company by 1600 Royal Charter Act. Then these different European ambassadors that are available to Mughal court for seeking permission to start factories over here. And eventually, Thomas Roy's arrival. Then permission for factories. Then French East India Company. Okay, so you see that these companies, European companies, one by one they came and established their factories here. And by the time you see, coming to this beginning of 18th century, Mughals declined. Later Mughals were like this: Bahadur Shah, Jahandar Shah, Farooq Sir, Muhammad Shah, Ahmad Shah, Alamgir, Shah Alam II, Akbar Shah, Bahadur Shah. Now what is important, UPSC will definitely ask, on this UPSC will definitely ask, yes, they can shuffle the events related to the life of each later Mughal rulers. Okay, Bahadur Shah, Jahandar Shah, Farooq Sir. For example, see Farooqsir is important. Why he is important? Why he is important? Okay. Issuing farming to this British East India Company. Jalandhar Shah is introduced during his time. Ijra system is introduced. Okay. So similar way, you see Muhammad Shah is important. Why Muhammad Shah is important? Of course, that's the time Hyderabad become independent. And also that time is known for Nader Shah's invasion, Karnal invasions and all. Then see one by one you can go for why these later rulers are significant, what all significant events happened during the tenure of these later rulers. That idea you must have. Then of course the timeline of this history, because chronology based questions are favorite, chronology based questions are a favorite area of this UPSC. So understanding the chronology of these major events of the history will save your marks. Okay, 1600 birth of East India Company. Then from 1609, 1611, 13, 15, 16, 18, 16, 16, see 32, 33, 39, 67, 17, 17. So those events, the initial chronology till that 1691 or 1717, Mughal Emperor Farooqsir issues farman to the company with the trade advantages. Then see why these native states. Why these native states fail, or why there is disintegration or there is division among Indian states. Of course, political disintegration. There is no strong central empire power is there. No such a strong central empire is there, because feudalization eventually resulted in creation of regional states. So no political centralized authority. There is political disintegration, rise of autonomous states, decentralization, internal rivalries, medieval outlook, and commercial monopoly of the company. And again, see no sense of nationalism among Indian states. All these are the reasons why these Indian native states failed in front of these British or in front of these Europeans. Then eventually these British, out of these Europeans, British become champions. So you just go for these popular British conquest in India. I mean, their conquest with the native states and conquest with the other Europeans. For example, see Carnatic Wars, English versus French. Okay, Carnatic Wars are there. Similar way, Anglo Maratha Wars are there. Anglo Sikh War is there. Anglo Mysore is there. Okay, so these popular British wars in this Bengal. So these British conquest and conquest with the native states and other Europeans are very important for you. How they eventually conquered this India. See, there are many reasons for the failure. Many reasons for the failure of this French. Many reasons for the failure of French. Many reasons for the success of British. Why British become successful? You see, it is autonomous. Joint stock company, 3 strong bases, commercial monopoly, capable leaders, superiority of this naval power. All these are reasons for this British success. On the other side, French failure is due to dependence. This French company was like a French government department. Most of the shares of the company bought by the French monarch. So this French company has no autonomy. They have to act according to this will of this French monarch. So over dependency on this Paris or over dependency on this French monarch, that was a reason for his failure. Then see this continental wars of the monarch, that was his primary interest rather than business. Then see a single base it has, which is Pondicherry, and it is Port District and Pondicherry. But the British is having 3 strong bases, that is Bombay, Madras and this Bengal. Then see, commercial monopoly was the primary game of this British, and political ambitions primary game of this French East India Company. Capable leaders British had, but here there is only one duplice. So just look into the reasons why French failed, which is important for you. Then this Bengal conquest, Buxar Plassey battles. Then eventually there are lots of battles the British fought, and eventually they conquered this India. Then what was the ultimate change? What was the ultimate change, or what was the ultimate result of this conquest? You can look into this. Yes, this is something the transition. This is something the biggest change happened after this British Congress. You see, India became a supplier of raw materials, buyer of the British goods, and Indian industries, especially these, not industries. I mean, industries collapsed, deindustrialized. Agriculture is commercialized. There is forced cash crops cultivation instead of food crops. Then handloom industries collapsed. Domestic and international markets for Indian crafts were lost because of the one-way free trade policy. Then see farmers suffering due to revenue experiments. They introduced different permanent Mahalwari, Ryotuwari settlements. Commercial agriculture leading to rise in the number of landless workers. New class of moneylenders, indebtedness, okay, famines. So this is the total net result of these British policies and British Congress. Then on the other side you see, yes, when I say the negatives, so other side you see the modern ideas spread in the Indian society, liberty, freedom, equality, human rights. Yes, there are lots of legislations passed to prevent or restrict the social evils, and Bengal Sati Regulation Act, Age of Consent Act, or new language introduced, new philosophies and literature introduced, regional languages being ignored. Then see there is centralization. By 1839 1833 Act there is centralization. Then there is new schools and new education and western science, hospitals, railways. This is other side of this British colonialism. Railway networks, constitution, post and telegraph and telephone, and this what is called a new administrative system, census system of judiciary, bureaucracy, competitive exams, modern Western education, parliamentary democracy, financial institutions, training of well-disciplined army, rise of middle class. See, all these are impacts, or implications of this British colonialism, negatives and positives, which you have to look. Also, this is important for you. This British policy is introduced here. Either their chronology can be asked, or their aim can be asked, or you see that their stakeholders can be asked. Okay. Now see policy of ring fence, subsidiary alliance, policy of paramountcy, subordinate isolation, doctrine of labs, subordinate union, masterly inactivity. Yes, policy of proud reserve, policy of equal federation. Just look into these are some various policies British adopted, in Indian soil. So these things you please take care. What are these various policies? What are their intentions? That's very important for you. Sometimes they can ask the aim of the policies, or which viceroy adopted this, or what is the chronology. That way they can ask you the questions. Then socio-religious reforms. You see, socio-religious reform movements, their timeline is important for you. Different socio-religious reform movements are there, their leaders are there, their centers are there, which is important for you. If you need this compilation PDF or this PPT PDF, just put in the comment box. If you need it, just put in the comment box, or you can just contact me. My personal number I will just share here, 8136 5801. To this number you can contact if you need this compilation PDF. Okay. And for history optional and history crash course, you can contact me if you need it. See, this idea you must have. This is the easiest and perfect way of learning. You see, just go for the popular socio-religious reformist revivalist movements, their center and their leaders, that you must have an idea. Then rise of Indian nationalism. First is economic nationalism. You could see that the first ever reflection was in the form of 1857 revolt. You must know the various reasons, political, economic, social, intellectual reasons behind this, 1857 revolt. Economic reasons are there, political, social reasons are there, okay, religious reasons are there, military reasons are there. Immediate reason is introduction of this Enfield rifle, that you must understand. Okay. And see, this is again a favorite area for UPSC. Different books on revolt of 1857, Indian War of Indian Independence, V.D. Savarkar, Rebellion 1857, Symposium by Puran Chand Joshi, Indian Mutiny 1857 by George Bruce Malleson, Great Mutiny Christopher Hibbert, Religion and Ideology of Rebels of 1857 Iqbal Hussain, Excavation of Truth, Unsung Heroes of 1857, War of Independence, Muhammad Sadiq Khan. Why this 1857 is significant? Because it has set a trend of anti-British, anti-imperialist struggle. Religious harmony is reflected, addressed multiple issues. Peasants, ruined zamindars, deposed rulers, Indian soldiers participated, and see complete sacrifice and patriotism is reflected. So when you study this, have an idea what are the reasons or cause and effect of the events. I mean, what happened, that is important, but nowadays UPSC started asking why it matters. Okay, I mean the significance of this or how they are significant in the history of India, that part is very important, or how they are connected with the other events, that part is important. So go for the significance of each event. Okay, their cause and effect is important. Rise of Indian nationalism, that is due to multiple factors, you know that. Rise of Indian nationalism is due to multiple factors. So what are the political, economic, social, cultural, intellectual or religious factors leading to rise of Indian nationalism? That you must cover nicely, okay? Which is important for you. Economic nationalism is the most important thing, okay? See the reflection or how this Indian economy is systematically drained or how it is looted by different means and different methods. That realization that paved the path for foundation for Indian nationalism. So Indian political nationalism is born from economic nationalism. Go for the reasons. Social religious reform movements played a crucial role. Press played a crucial role. Okay, and this revival of ancient glory or Indologists and these people engaged in the study of India's past and their publication and translations also boosted the spirit of Indians. Racial arrogant policies of the British officers largely responsible. Then these destructive policies of Lytton, constructive policies of Ripon, all are responsible for rise of nationalism, which you take care. Then there is formation of INC. What are the initial objectives of INC? Okay. There is safety valve theory regarding the foundation of INC. Hume founded Congress with the hope that it would serve as safety valve for Indian growing discontent. Conspiracy theory. Rajani Pamet, that founder of conspiracy theory, according to that, Indian National Congress arose from a conspiracy to suppress popular uprising in India, and bourgeoisie leaders were complicit in it. Lightning conductor theory, Gokhale. Yes, desire of political consciousness Indians to establish a national body to express Indian political economic demands. Early Congress used Hume as a lightning conductor, catalyst to bring together nationalistic forces, even if under the guise of a safety valve. So, if Indians start, British will dispose or British will end it. That is why they used Hume as a lightning conductor to start this, political platform. Major moderate demands, you can go for moderate demands, limitations of the moderates. The narrow social base and this no organized agitations and their faith in English political tradition and failure to realize the true nature of the British and limited programs, all, and see even the constitution, I mean even the INC composition, you can see that majority members were Hindus and only 6.5 Muslims. Out of majority Hindus, 48% were Brahmins, rest were upper caste. That means no lower caste representation. Okay, so these were some limitations, but why they are significant? Because moderates, even though they represented the urban upper middle classes and all, yes, they were the biggest economic critics of colonialism, and they linked how Indian poverty is a result of British economic exploitation. Then see, due to this moderates pressure, there is HSN Commission, there is Indian Council Act 1892, Calcutta University Act 1904, Calcutta Municipal Corporation Act 1904, National Awakening, and they created solid base for organized mass-based anti-colonial movements in future, because they popularized the ideas of democracy, popular representative institutions, and economic nationalism. Your questions are asked. Now, this chronology, just look into this chronology, 1885 onwards. The chronology is very important for you. So coming to moderate phase of Indian nationalism, see 1885 formation of Indian National Congress AOQ, Age of Consent Act, 1892 Council Act, 1894 celebration of Ganpati festival by Tilak, 96 organization Shivaji festival. This is all for promotion of this nationalism, or this is for what is called mobilization of the masses towards a common goal. 1905 partition of Bengal, 1906 foundation of Muslim League, 1907 Surat split, INC splitted into moderates and extremists. Yes, 1908 Tilak's imprisonment, 1909 Morley Minto reforms, separate electorate for the first time for Muslims, 1911 organization of Delhi Darbar and annulment of partition of Bengal, 1912 Delhi conspiracy case, an attempt to assassinate then Viceroy Lord Harding in this Delhi procession ceremony, capital shift ceremony. 13 formation of Ghadar Party San Francisco, revolutionary organization in San Francisco, America, North America. 1915 arrival of Gandhi from South Africa, Gandhiji's Ghar Wapasi. 1916 Banaras University foundation. 16 Lucknow Pact, Congress League, moderate extremist reunion. 1916 home rule by Tilak. 1917 Montague's August Declaration. 1917 Chambaran Satyagraha. 1918 Ahmedabad Mill Strike. 1919 and Khera Satyagraha. 1919 Rowlatt Act. 1919 Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. 1919 appointment of Hunter Committee. 19 Government of India Act 1919, then 1919 Foundation of All India Khilafat Committee, formation of National Liberal Federation 1919, Non-Cooperation Movement 20, All India Trade Congress 20, 22 Chauri Chaura incident and suspension of non-cooperation, then 22 Swarajist Party, 24 Gandhi presided this Congress session Belgaum, only session Gandhiji presided, Belgaum session, where he endorsed this Swarajist. 1924 formation of Hindustan Republican Association, 25 Kakori train robbery, 25 foundation of Communist Party by M.N. Roy, 27 appointment of Simon Commission, all 7 white member commission that is to draft a future constitution of India. 27 All India Praja Conference established these princely states movements, 28 Lajpat Rai's death, 28 Motilal Nehru's Nehru Report, India's first ever draft to constitution framework. 28 Bardoli Satyagraha, 28 formation of independence for India led by Bose and Nehru, 29 Jinnah's 14-point demands, 29 Bhagat Singh and Bhakti Shardat throw bomb at the Central Legislature Assembly against the passage of Public Safety Bill and the trade dispute, which is against the interest of Indians. 29 Lahore conspiracy case, 29 Lahore session of Congress, Purna Swaraj is declared, 29 tricolor is hoisted, 30 Gandhiji's 11-point demand, first roundtable conference, 1930, then 30 CDM started, Dandi March. Go through it. Yes, final portion that I will add here. So hereafter you must understand that there is There is a CDM, then there is a suspension of CDM, there is passage of Government of India Act 1935. 37, there is Congress Ministries formation, then 39, it's resignation, then World War II, Quit India movement, then Rin Mutiny, Indian National Army formation, INA trial agitations, then Rin Mutiny. Then finally, you understand cabinet mission, then Mountbatten's arrival, then partition and freedom of the nation. So you see, just go for this chronology. What are the major events at each juncture, each station? That is very important for you. What all the major happenings of 1920s, 30s and 40s? It's very, very important. Don't ever compromise. Different declarations or different proposals, committees, commissions, reports, all those things are important. Just go for it and try to solve maximum questions. Try to solve maximum previous year questions. And also, I would say that, Gallant IAS YouTube channel. Gallant IAS YouTube channel. This YouTube channel is having lots of contents, lots of videos. What I would say is that you watch them. So many free videos are there, watch them. That will definitely boost your preparation. Subscribe the channel, get to the new notifications and to watch them. That will, lots of free stuffs are, even though the complete course is not there, lots of free videos are there which will definitely help you to boost your preparation and make your preparation stronger and faster. Okay, so in different subjects you can see some core videos are released that you can watch in the channel. And for complete preparation, you can just contact the office. Okay, these are the things I would like to share you. All the best to every aspirant, and these weeks I would say that practice maximum number of questions, and in a simulated environment, actual test environment, you take test every day. Even though many say that these weeks don't take test, I would say that at least one test every day in a setting a timer, 2 hours timer, 120 minutes, set a timer and have a plan accordingly. You take test every day and practice maximum questions, especially previous year's questions, and find out your stronger weaker areas and what all these fill in the blanks required. Please do it and enjoy this preparation. Get relaxed and have the real-time experience of these exams. So simulated test in these weeks, that will save a lot in the final exam. That's it. All the best. Thank you. Good night to everyone.